the China Sea. Bad weather that almost hides ship from ship in this close formation of the United States Navy's Third Fleet. In a power maneuver, the Navy moves to neutralize enemy interference with operations in the Philippines. Stretching like a protective blanket for miles, the storm area conceals the movements of the task force. Now planes are launched, and the Navy strikes sudden, sharp blows at Japanese bases on the Indo-China coast. Off Indo-China, planes spot 4 enemy convoys bound for the Philippines. Bombs hurtle down, and in this one attack, 25 Japanese ships are sunk. An important mission completed, the carrier planes return to their ships. One plane comes to grief on a carrier deck. The pilot, stunned by the impact, hangs limp in the cockpit. Willing hands lower him safely away from his damaged plane. Now the great port of Saigon, Indo-China, is the target, as the Navy lashes out again. Torpedo planes send their projectiles into a Japanese tanker, loaded with oil from the Saigon fields. To Saigon, over a Dog's Head land formation jutting into the China Sea. Saigon oil reserves go up in smoke, a preview of daring massed carrier plane attacks which have now smashed at Tokyo itself. Here on the Black Sea, near the city of Yalta in the Crimea, is the meeting place of the leaders of Britain, Russia, and the United States, scene of the most successful international conference of the war. Livadia Castle, once the summer palace of Tsar Nicholas II. Here the Crimea Conference is to take place, and the surrounding countryside is busy with preparations. Military convoys bring necessary supplies. Special communications lines are strung to the palace. Under 3 flags at a nearby airfield, Russian officials headed by Foreign Secretary Molotov await the arrival of the British and American delegations. Anthony Eden, British Foreign Minister. Edward Stettinius, United States Secretary of State. Harry Hopkins, advisor to President Roosevelt, with Averell Harriman, United States Ambassador to Russia. and Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of Great Britain. Also arriving by plane after a 6,000-mile trip is Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the United States. First of 8 days of day and night conferences at Levadia Castle begins with the arrival of distinguished participants. Sarah Churchill Oliver, accompanying her father, greets President Roosevelt's daughter, Mrs. Anna Bottiger. Marshal Joseph Stalin, Premier of the Soviet Union. At the time of the first three-nation conference at Tehran 14 months ago, the ground over which Stalin now walks was still in the enemy's hands. The three parties reach a firm accord on military and political points. Coordinated plans are made for great new blows against Germany from all directions. Reaffirming the resolve of the United Nations to cooperate fully after the war, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin reach agreement on the foundations of European peace. Germany shall be disarmed. German militarism and Nazism will be destroyed. Germany shall be occupied in zones, with France a major participant. An organization for world security will be permanently established. The three leaders reaffirmed their faith in the principles of the Atlantic Charter. Moving outside, Sarah Oliver, Catherine Harriman, daughter of the American ambassador, and Mrs. Bottiger watch as the three leaders briefly interrupt their conference to pose for history-making pictures. Says the special communique signed by all three. Our meeting here in the Crimea has reaffirmed our common determination to maintain and strengthen in the peace to come that unity of purpose and of action which has made victory possible and certain for the United Nations in this war. We believe that this is a sacred obligation which our governments owe to our peoples and to all peoples of the world. Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, Joseph Stalin.